3 teens were arrested today for defacing the Kensington Park War Memorial overnight. The destruction includes painted messages against the military and the war in the Middle East. The 3 teens were picked up in the early morning hours after evidence was left at the scene.
Grandpa, something wrong?
Some people sure have short memories, and those who are too young to know need to be taught. Come on, I want to show you guys something.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
At dawn on the morning of the 6th of June, 1944, 225 Rangers jumped off the British landing craft and ran to the bottom of these cliffs. 225 came here. After 2 days of fighting, only 90 could still bear arms. These are the boys of Puente Loco. These are the men who took the cliffs. These are the champions who helped free a continent. These are the heroes who helped end a war. You are men who in your, quote, lives fought for life and left the vivid air signed with your honor.
In the name of God and country, I learned to defy gravity.
To honor my family,
I lived in the belly of a beast.
I fixed the hearts of iron monsters.
I became a worm in the mud for dignity,
for honor,
for righteousness' sake,
for God and country.
I fought for you.
I fought for you.
for you.
I fought for you.
I fought for you.
I fought for you.
I fought for you.
For you.
For you.
For you.
For you.
I fought for you.
I fought for you.
I fought for you, and I do it again.
What's up, everybody? The Patriot View, episode 2. Welcome. Appreciate Iceman with the raid right off the bat there. I hope,
Wow.
yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm the Patriotic Veteran. Got with me the CIA Cowboy.
How are you guys doing today? Glad to see everybody coming in the stream. We got one heck of a show put together for you, and I am super stoked. First of all, before we go any further, I want to thank a group called the Sound Tank for that video that we just watched. Just an incredible look at veteran respect for each other and civilian respect for veterans. I really appreciate Andrew Manzano and the crew at the Sound Tank for putting that together and then allowing us to use it on stream. Patriotic, what do we got on the docket today? What's our subject? Where are we going from here?
Where do you want to go? Do you got any ideas? I mean, I've got some, but we got to start also hot and heavy, you know?
Right. Well, let's take a minute and just talk about respect for veterans. Why not? I mean, that's a great video to put that thought on our mind. And what we saw there. So if you happen to notice in the end of that video, there was an elderly man with a black beret on his head saluting the younger veterans, the younger troops who came in. Every veteran in that video is an actual veteran of the United States military. Every one of the young people in camos that walked in at the end were active duty soldiers on leave from training who came in to shoot that video. Um, and those older veterans stood up and saluted and paid their respects to the young men and women who had signed up in the current generation. Now, that old man with the black beret on his head, his name is Tom Hope. He passed away not too long ago, but he's pretty well known in veteran circles for having formed a charity organization called Flight of Hope. And Patriotic, I think you're familiar with them. You've heard of them before, I'm sure.
Yeah, I went to two of the flights, one outgoing and one incoming, and it's awesome, man. It was right whenever it first got started. This is probably in like maybe 2012 or so. Um, and they were flying them out of the local airport, and it was cool. I think they flew 97 on the first flight, and obviously everything was paid for them. All expenses covered, and they took them to see that flight went to the Washington D.C. World War II Memorial. They took them all to see the memorial that had just been erected for them, and I know that they got other flights going other places too. That's a really good program. And then I got to see the same group of men come home from their flight, and they were 80, 90 years old at the time, so they were exhausted when they got home.
Right.
But you know, you could tell that they came back smiling, and they were so happy that there was 1,000 people there to greet them. That's a really good deal.
Right. I know one of the things that they do, they actually take veterans back to Europe, World War II veterans back to Europe to revisit old battlegrounds and monuments, cemeteries, things like that, and give them the chance to fellowship with each other. Actually, I believe that is the same organization that 2 years ago we celebrated a U.S. military veteran's 101st birthday. And he had met this young lady while he was in France and fell in love with her. They spent a lot of time together, but then he was removed from the area. They didn't see each other again for like 60 years. And somehow Flight of Hope managed to reconnect them, flew him back to France, and he was able to meet her 60 years later. Neither of them had remarried. She did have a daughter, um, but they never saw each other for like 60 years. And when his 101st birthday party rolled around, Flight of Hope brought his daughter over, or her daughter over from France to attend his birthday party. Her mother wasn't able to come; she wasn't in the health to come, but she came to celebrate his birthday party, and that was just here in Olive Branch, Mississippi, just a few minutes south of my house. It was pretty neat to see that. Flight of Hope's a really cool organization, and like I said, the elderly man in that video with the black beret on his head, that is the man who founded that organization. And his son Vince continues to work with veterans and provide Flight of Hope, and we are hoping that there's a chance we can get him on the show soon for an interview so that you can meet him and see what it is that he does.
That'd be cool. That'd definitely be a good interview, man. I tell you what, we got so many interviews lined up, so many people we want to talk to. It's like
we have 5 years worth of interviews already lined
right.
up.
Well, I hope we get a chance to talk to them. We might start doing two a week if we keep at it. I mean, there's no reason not to interview everybody.
Right. I mean, well, the information they have is good. The organizations that they're connected to are absolutely incredible. We've got connections into War Horses for Heroes, which works with disabled vets to help them learn horsemanship. I've been down to their stables here in Mississippi, just a little south of my house, help build ramps for disabled veterans to be able to get up on top of a horse and go horseback riding. We have connections with War Dogs who train service animals for heroes. We have connections into several aviation organizations. Leave it to me to want to find somebody who likes to fly airplanes to talk to.
Heck yeah.
So we've got some really great interviews coming up for you guys on the future episodes. We have an awesome interview later today. Make sure you stick around. Scrufytam, most of you probably know him. from Flight Sim. He will be joining us to talk about some of the things that he does to reach out in his community and help veterans. So we'll be having him on in the second half of the show. I'm really excited about that. So we got a great show lined up for you today. So
Well, let's get rolling.
let's do it.
We want to talk about first. We want to talk about the Super Bowl. Got two brothers starting the Super Bowl. That's pretty cool.
Go ahead and do the Super
Jason
Bowl
and Travis
thing. We'll get
Kelsey.
That's going to be an interesting match. It might be actually worth watching just to watch two brothers beat each other to death on the field. You know, I mean, can you imagine the sibling rivalry? Can you imagine the Super Bowl party at his family's home right now?
Yeah.
You know,
that's going to be awesome.
That would be an interesting one to sit in on. That's pretty neat. Does anybody happen to know? I know there was a fan, a Kansas City Chiefs fan, who was begging for the NFL to allow their mother to do the coin toss. Does anybody know if that actually happened?
No idea. Never heard of
it. It would be pretty cool if they were actually able to pull that off. He had petitioned.
Meat Shield says no. They denied that.
They did deny it. Okay, cool. That would have been really cool to see. Just to see the mom come out there. And
I can't believe the Cleveland Indians didn't let the Wild thing come out and throw the opening pitch when they went to the World Series. They missed a chance there.
Missed a good shot there.
I haven't watched a World Series in forever, but I would have watched the opening pitch at least.
Right. I'm not a huge pro sports fan. Most of the people that know me know that. I will sit down and watch a football game to hang out with friends, or a baseball game, basketball. But when it comes to sports, I prefer college and high school sports over pro, for the most part. Now I do enjoy going to like a minor league baseball game. To me, that's a lot of fun. The tickets are affordable enough you can actually afford to go if you sneak your own food into the stadium and don't pay $10 for a hot dog.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I live up here south of Chicago, so any baseball games I would go to, it's the White Sox, and you can get a ticket for $6 because they suck.
I used to go to the White Sox games.
Blackhawks games, on the other hand, not so cheap.
Yeah. Well, you got to think too. Hockey in the U.S. is it's not as widespread as say baseball or football. Not as many people attend it, and so they're able to charge a little bit more because they have less seating. You know, you got something supply and demand, I guess.
Yep.
But I tell you this,
a little bit.
I'd rather watch a hockey game than a baseball game. I can remember watching the Stanley Cup when I was a kid, watching New York Rangers in the Stanley Cup. And I don't remember if it was their goalie or one of the other guys on the team, but he caught a puck to the chin and it cut the bottom of his chin off. And like it was just hanging there. He's bleeding all over the place. You know, blood's hitting the ice. You're like, oh, you can't play anymore. He went to the box and they taped his chin back on and he finished the game with his chin like medically taped to his face.
Yeah, the Blackhawks had a guy this year caught a stick in a puck in the jaw. It broke his jaw, and he had to have like 17 staples up the side of his face. And he went back to the locker room, got his face stapled back together. They put a taller mask shield over his helmet, and he came back.
Men who are men, right?
Those guys are tough, some bitches there.
Rough,
but speaking of sports, that's a good segue into these links that you all see up here to the sides of our photographs. This is two outstanding sites to where I'll cover VetTix first. That's the soldier down here, and you see the little, what do you call that thing? A QR code, I think, right?
Yep, QR code.
No, Grantler, I did not make it to the Super Bowl today. I wish.
We're not
get
that
the call.
big yet. Didn't get the invite to come call the game.
But this VetTix down here is Ticket for Troops, and that's literally they give you tickets to stuff. Like if you go on the website, there's probably 160 events they have tickets to right now. Scan that code. That's my personal referral code. Like I get like 10 coins or something for anybody I refer. And the way the coins work is that everything's a lottery. So if you have say 100 coins and you bid 50 of them on tickets, if you don't get the tickets, you get your coins back. If you get the tickets, then you lose those coins, but you get tickets to the game. And you can request. It depends on if you register as like a single person or married with kids, whatever. So I can request up to 4 tickets for most of these events. They sent me. I got to take my daughter to see Katy Perry for $14.95, the cost of the processing fee. Got to take my wife to go see Adam Sandler live. That was awesome. The USO does a lot of stuff too with in conjunction with VetTix, because the USO only covers active duty members. So if they have extra tickets or whatever, they'll give them to VetTix. I get to go to the Blackhawks game up there. And first ticks is the same thing basically, but it's for all first responders, so firefighters, EMTs, all medical personnel, police, whatever. But those are definitely two great organizations. So if anybody's looking to, any veterans out there or first responders looking to get tickets, check those sites out. Use that link. Get me some coins so I can go to more stuff, and they'll generate a referral link of your own. So if you can tell your buddies about it, you'll get some more coins to go to stuff. And if you are looking for somewhere to donate to, veteran or not veteran, those are two great organizations. Kurt Busch, he retired last year. He's a NASCAR driver. He did a thing in 2019 and 2020 to where he gave VetTix 100 tickets to every single event on the NASCAR schedule.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. And then he had hopes of doing better. So, but last year, I don't know if anybody knows the concussion thing. He got drove in the wall and ended up cutting his career and season short. But he's retired now. I don't know if anybody's going to pick that up or what, but I know he did a lot of good stuff for VetTix. VetTix was able to give away 100 tickets to every single cup event, not cup event, not the
ARCA,
the lower
stuff,
right,
but
yeah, to actual NASCAR Cup Series races, 100 per event. That's phenomenal.
That's pretty cool. So basically, 100 vets got to go watch his brother Kyle cry for free.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty
much.
Cool. I'm down with that.
There was at least 100 people booing.
Kurt Busch he was a good driver. He wasn't one of my favorites, but he was a good driver. His brother Kyle, on the other hand, he needs to go back to the dirt track. Get back in a little kid's pen.
Kyle is a phenomenal driver. I just don't like his personality.
That's exactly the truth. He and Jeff Gordon I share that in my opinion of them. They are both excellent race car drivers. Jeff Gordon, especially on the street tracks, I just don't like him.
Yeah, it's not the same. Like I'll never tell you Kyle Busch sucks. I'll tell you I think he's an asshole.
If I were racing in NASCAR at the end of a race, if I didn't have some paint from Jeff Gordon's car on my paint, then I wasn't at the track that day.
Yep.
Because I'm with Earnhardt on that. If you ain't got paint from at least 3 cars, you didn't race. Well, so there's some great resources there for our vets and first responders. We told you guys that this show was aimed at helping our vets and aimed at helping our first responders. And so here's just a couple of the resources that we're putting out there for you guys. We want to help you guys enjoy life. And everybody knows these days with the economy the way that it is, being able to afford to go out to events like this is getting more and more expensive. And so when we come across something that's going to help you guys get in for free or to reduce cost, we're going to put it up here every time we get the chance because it helps you enjoy things. That's what it's about.
Cutting out the cost of the tickets, even if it's not a super expensive event, like I'll pick Adam Sandler, for example. I don't know exactly how much it costs for a regular ticket to go see Adam Sandler, but we got to sit probably, I'd say, a third of the way off the stage, compared to, like, they weren't awesome seats, but they were good seats. We could see them, and we were it was an outside deal, but we were under the awning. So, if it rained or anything, we got took care of. But not having to spend that $50, $100, whatever it is per ticket, that allows us to budget more for the event. So we can have a better time because we're able to spend more money on the drinks and giant pretzels with nacho cheese that I have to have everywhere I go. But it's definitely an awesome thing. Check them out. What do you got, Cowboy? Your turn. I picked that one.
So we've been looking at some different topics, and one of the things that we said we definitely wanted to talk about is the VA budget cap. And the first question that comes to mind is, why do we have a VA budget cap? Why would we put a limit on what we're willing to spend to keep our veterans healthy after they've gone overseas? I personally, for my point of view, I don't think that we should set a cap and say, okay, well, this is the most we're going to spend on our vets. I do think that we need to be wise with the money. And you and I have had several conversations about misuse of funds, not so much misuse of funds as mismanagement of funds within the VA administration. I remember you told me about your dental appointment here a while back where you had to make 2 trips for something that could have been done in one visit with a few more minutes.
For sure.
Maybe you want to elaborate on that a little bit. You want to share that story?
The dentist story again?
Yeah. just for anybody who
Basically,
wasn't here.
prior to getting some actual dental work, they wanted me to have a cleaning, so they scheduled me a cleaning. I get an email, and I think last episode I said it was February 18th, and it was obviously not. It was January 18th. I sent me an email say, hey, you have an appointment for January 18th, and then that was on like a Thursday or something. I didn't reply to it. I didn't do nothing to it. Like on a Friday, I get another email. Hey, you got a dental appointment on January 23rd. I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird. So I replied to that email. I said, do I have this is Friday now, so I said, do I have 2 appointments or 1 appointment? And the 18th was January 18th. I think was a Monday. I'm gonna check that real quick because whatever reason, the 18th was a Wednesday. Okay, whatever. Maybe I just, anyways,
It was a day.
yeah. By the time they got back to me, so I know what it was. Is I got the second email Tuesday night, and it said that the appointment for the 23rd. And then, so I replied to that. Do I have one on the 18th or the 23rd or both? And this is at like 3 p.m. or so. Well, no one replied to me before closing time. And then the appointment's for like 9 in the morning. Well, if I got an hour and a half drive one way, that means I need to know by, 7:30 in the morning. Well, their office doesn't open until 8. So no one was basically able to reply in time to tell me if I had an appointment that day. So long story short, I get there for the 23rd appointment and they clean half my mouth. And that's why I was like, so what's this other appointment for? They're like, yeah, we need to reschedule. That's for the other half. So I had to reschedule that. And I asked them why, the first one took 25 minutes. Why don't they just, if it's an hour long appointment, why don't you just do it all at once? And basically they said that the VA has it set up to where, for deep cleanings, I guess, they have to do 2 separate ordeals. So it won't be, I don't know, traumatic on my mouth or something. I don't really know why, but yeah, so
Yeah, because that's the worst trauma you've ever experienced
right,
as a combat veteran.
3-hour round trip for a 25-minute dental appointment, twice. So, and actually, update, went back. I'm not gonna call the dentist office out, but I went back for the second appointment, the one I had to make up for the 18th that I missed, and they proceeded to clean the same side of my mouth for the second time. So I waited until I got done. I was like, what about the other side? I'm like, what do you mean the other side? We did that last time. I said, no, you didn't. Like, well, our documents say that we did that side last time. I'm like, well, I'm the guy who's bleeding from the mouth here, and I know which side I bled from last time, and you all hit the same side twice.
Right. I know
So
it's 2/3.
They went through and did a quick dusting and got the other side good enough, I suppose. But
that's when you look at them and go, okay, so should I brush half my teeth one day and the other half the next? I mean, how does this work? How far do we take this? I mean,
yeah,
have they been misinforming me my whole life on how often I should brush and which side?
right.
Know? So yeah, I mean, classic example of government mismanagement of funds, not fraud, not somebody scamming the system, but just funds that could be better managed.
Yeah, for sure.
I have always said if we really wanted to balance the U.S. budget, that the Department of Treasury secretary should be a single mom who's been working 3 jobs to support 4 kids on her own for the last 10 years. Because if she can feed 4 kids for 10 years without losing any of them, then she's managed to balance a budget.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Probably doing all right then, huh?
She's probably doing all right. Now, right now, the total budget for this year for the VA is set at $301.4 billion. That is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money until you break it down and you find out that the VA actually cares for 9 million veterans. They have a little over 9 million active cases that they're caring for. Now, when you break that money down, that averages out to about 33 to 35,000 per year per vet. Now, that still sounds like a chunk of change. I mean, if I had 30,000 extra dollars a year, I could do quite a bit with it. And that sounds like a lot of money. But when you're talking about medical care, that money disappears really quickly. So I've been in the hospital twice in the last year. I had a motorcycle accident back in February of last year, and broke a collarbone, took an ambulance ride from the crash scene, whole 9 yards. Didn't have to stay in the hospital, was just in the ER, had x-rays and stuff done, had to go back, talk with the orthopedic surgeon, find out if I needed surgery and all that good jazz. That totaled up to over $15,000 for roughly about 4.5 hours, 5 hours in the emergency room, and 3 hours worth of appointments with the orthopedic surgeon, totaled up to over $15,000. I did not
Yep.
have surgery. All right, so there's half of that $33,000 gone right there, nearly in one instance.
So does that include salaries for the doctors and the surgeons and all that stuff? That figure?
I would assume that it does for those who are actually staffed by the VA.
Right.
One thing that we're going to segue into on this is how they managed to finally start outsourcing some stuff, and I believe that's good because it reduces the cost and improves the care.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
anything that improves the care, I'm for, and if it can reduce cost at the same time, then why
Well,
not?
and let's talk about the real bonus. It relieves us of the stress of having to drive probably hours
Three
one way for an
hours.
appointment.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Memphis here, we have one of the largest VA centers in the South for sure, and in the country, I believe. And right now, the VA operates 1,298 facilities that they actually own and operate. And if you took those 9 million veterans and they were only being serviced at those VA owned facilities, each one would have to see 6,934 vets per facility per year. That's 18
6,000.
appointments. 6,934
How many working
per
days are
year.
in a year? 200.
Well, I figured it up on 365 days a year because most medical places are open, Sundays too. So you figure if it's open 365 days a year, they'd have to see 18 people per day. Now, if you've got one doctor for each type of facility, that's 18 hours that he's got to spend talking to a vet. Now, I realize that these facilities have more than one doctor. Some of them are very large. The one here in Memphis, I mean, it's like a small city. It's huge. But you get out to, say, Wyoming, Montana, places like that, you might have a 4-hour drive to get to a VA, an actual
Yeah.
VA owned facility. So they're finally starting to outsource to other doctors. I think you brought up the Mission Act last
Yeah, that's what it
episode.
was called. It was June 6, 2018 is whenever it got signed into law by our president. Had been voted through the House and Senate prior to that.
So and what that did, that basically alleviated some of what the VA was dealing with by outsourcing to, like, your dentist office that you use. I assume
It
is
took
not
away
at
like
the VA.
90% of the legwork behind going to an appointment.
Right.
If you live over, it's either like 30 miles or 40 minutes from your closest VA clinic, then you can go to care in a community. Period. That's it.
Well,
There's no special requirements. There's no like you literally call like your people and they're like, okay, we set you up for an appointment an hour and a half away from you at the VA facility for Tuesday, and you're like, okay, well that's too far away. I would like to go to community care, and then they're like, oh, all right, and then they do
right.
it. That's it. Then they give you a referral to, whatever mom and pop dentist or healthcare person you've been going to for half your life.
Right. Go see somebody you're familiar with.
Yeah.
And I mean, that definitely helps, because now you're not dealing with a whole new doctor who's got to learn your medical history. Instead, you're dealing with Dr. Brown, who delivered you 40 years ago for your mom or whatever, somebody
Well, I'll
who,
tell you
if I'm
right
going to
now
take my
they're
car
not.
somewhere, I'm going to take it to a mechanic, and I'm going to take it to the same mechanic all the time, because then he gets to know the car. Why wouldn't they do the same thing with my body?
Yep. The chances of you seeing a doctor at a VA facility are few and far between, anyways. Because, and I don't know the last time you sought medical care for anything, like with your motorcycle wreck. Did you actually see a doctor? Or did you see a nurse practitioner for the first 90 minutes?
I'm trying to think. It was a nurse practitioner. You're
Yeah.
right, because there's one doctor in the ER that heads up the ER.
Right.
There's one or two supporting doctors there, but they're typically surgeons or have a special field, and they're dealing specifically with cases related to that field. For a car accident victim comes in and they need immediate emergency surgery, the surgeon's going to be there. But for the average person that goes in there with a broken arm, broken collarbone, bloody nose, the flu,
Yeah.
you're going to see a nurse practitioner.
Yep. And they got. I mean, I noticed it. Maybe it's not true, but the way I see it is, it seems like in the past 20 years in the medical field, they keep adding titles to things to take away from the responsibility of the doctors and add responsibility to the pyramid below them.
Right.
So like Yeah, you got a nurse practitioner. You got all the registered nurse, nurse's assistant, certified nurse assistant. Like you got 18 tiers of healthcare providers below 'em, so the doctor don't have to come see you. That's the bottom line. That's how I feel anyway. But
That's
the VA
true.
is no different. It's
That's true. And one thing too, when we're looking at money, so we're talking about the budget cap for the VA. They got a budget set of $300 billion to care for 9 million veterans. All right, so let's look at just guys from the Vietnam era. Agent Orange, major killer among Vietnam era
yeah.
vets. These guys were exposed to some harsh chemicals. I don't know how much you guys know about Agent Orange. Everybody's heard the term, I'm sure. I did some research on it. This stuff was so powerful. It was basically Roundup on crack. They would take this stuff, they load it into helicopters and airplanes, and they would spray the trees around forward operating bases to defoliate them so they could see the Vietnamese coming. They would spray it on the trees in the morning. By afternoon, the trees would start turning brown. By the next day, leaves would fall. 2 days later, there were no leaves left on the tree. The tree was dead. And of course, when you spray something in an aerial format like that, and it's been aerosolized, it becomes airborne. Well, wind drift carried a lot of that over the guys who were in the forward operating bases. They were exposed to it heavily. Matter of fact, I've talked with a couple of guys who flew helicopters in Vietnam, and they said they could remember flying helicopters, and they're sitting there, they're flying, their co-pilot's got the controls. They reach out, take a sandwich out of the bag, and the sandwich would be coated with the stuff that was still floating around in the air. They'd eat it anyways because
Heck
it
yeah.
was
That's
food.
how Cheetos got invented.
That's right. You know, so Agent Orange causes a severe cancer that is, to my knowledge, not curable. They have had some success with slowing it down, but I don't believe that they've been able to actually cure it and stop it. And Agent Orange, when a Vietnam veteran is diagnosed with Agent Orange exposure, they receive a settlement from the VA. Now it's not a simple process to get, but it does happen. Those settlements average $39,000 per year. Now that is a monetary settlement. That is not medical care that they're guaranteed. That is a cash settlement that the VA funds. If we break that average of $301 billion broken down 9 million times to 33 to $35,000 per year per vet, that's not even enough in that average to cover the cash settlement owed to a Vietnam veteran for being exposed to Agent Orange. And let me just say this, $39,000 a year is a BS number to offer to somebody who's giving their life 40 years after the fact for their country. That
That
doesn't pay for that life.
they're still covered under the VA for medical care though, so they're not
They are.
spending that $39,000 on. Like it's not like their cancer treatment cost them $41,000 and they only gave them 39 to cover it. That's
No. They give them 30. It's
yeah,
$39,000 like living money. Think of it as a check, a
yeah.
paycheck that comes in, probably either monthly or quarterly. Um, so it's a paycheck. It's not like that's all they're getting. But what I'm saying is the VA's budget doesn't even allow for a full allotment to cover that. If every veteran they were caring for were a Vietnam vet. The other thing to look at, cancer treatment. According to the National Cancer Society, and this isn't just veterans, this is people across the board, the average annual cost for cancer treatment is $42,000 a year. Cancer is one of the most prevalent things that veterans deal with, either because of habits that they may have, smoking, chewing, dipping, or drinking. Cirrhosis would be considered a cancer as well.
Oh, yeah, I learned how to chew tobacco overseas.
Yeah,
I was getting a little sleepy while I was driving my Humvee, and
that'll
T-Bag
wake you up.
threw his skull over there and hit me in the helmet. He says, "Hey, we're, you gonna turn on that last block with everybody else?" And I said, "Oh shit." He's like, "Yeah, put some of that in your lip. Wake up."
Right. Well, I mean, so habits that they picked up in the service, they contribute to cancer. Chemicals that they're exposed to, guys in motor pool constantly messing with avgas, diesel, gasoline, all kinds of
Oh yeah.
oils and heavy petroleum products. So cancer is really prevalent. $42,000 a year is what it costs to treat cancer. So when we look at the budget that the VA has, the numbers don't add up to being able to provide everything that a veteran might need. There is plenty of service out there. Here's why they can have that budget that really, in my opinion, is not big enough. because there are so many veterans out there who do not know how to get the care that they need through the VA. A lot of them just give up trying to fill out the paperwork and go through it. They don't understand, older guys don't understand the computers and stuff. And it's easier for them just to go deal with their family doctor and use whatever health insurance they got from their job after they got out.
Yep.
So they're able to run with that budget the way that it is. But when you change from VA care to HMO care, you're talking about a whole different level of health care that is nowhere near what could be provided by the VA. When you do personalized medical care through insurance, it's all about the Benjamins. They're going to do what costs the least amount to do. The VA will get behind you as a veteran and they will make sure you get the care you need. You just have to know how to go about getting to the right person and getting the right paperwork in the right place to make that happen.
It's not real hard to keep up on that. Like to be eligible for VA care, all you have to have done is served, and then like there's time limits on some of the stuff. Like I think you only have dental care for like the first 3 years after you separate or whatever. But as long as you go to you have a checkup once a year, a VA, just a general exam or whatever, a general physical, and they require you to do that once a year to maintain your coverage from the VA. So that's not really too much to ask.
Right. I agree. Um, you know, I look at our vets, the guys that I work with, and I see them struggle with a lot of different health issues. Some of them minor. Some guys have minor stuff going on. I got a really close friend, Bob Bunton. He's dealing with some skin cancer. Relatively minor form of cancer that they've been able to take care of. But then I see other guys that they're going through, I mean, some deep water health wise. They're dealing with, mental stress, mental issues that they're trying to cope with, memories, PTSD, all kinds of stuff. Then you've got other guys that are dealing with loss of a limb, or major head trauma, TBI. TBI is probably, if I had to guess, probably one of the most common injuries that a soldier who's been in combat can receive.
Oh, for sure. Most of the engagements are I would say, this is maybe a stupid statement, but I would say most of the engagements are probably initiated by roadside bombs, IEDs. I mean, that's their favorite form of attack, right? Is hit the first vehicle or the last vehicle in the convoy with an IED and then trap everybody. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever been around any sort of real life artillery rounds or anything, but like they like to daisy chain them together to where 3 or 4 or 5 of them go off at the same time, and those 155 millimeter artillery rounds are heavy. I would say probably 100 pounds a piece, maybe. And when one of them some bitches goes off, it rings your bell.
So you're talking about the Oklahoma City truck bomb going off next to a vehicle you're sitting in.
Right. And yeah, the armor on our Humvees is great. It protects you from the shrapnel, but you can't get around sound waves. Like
no,
that shit'll knock your mustache off.
And those things, when something like that, and I haven't been around something that large. I have been around, I'm not going to say how large. I've been around some large quantities of tannerite. And when that goes off, even if you were deaf and could not hear the sound, you would physically feel the sound wave pass through your body. And there's been some research done, not just on the brain, but other internal organs. Heavy sound waves like that can damage internal organs as well, besides the brain. It can cause permanent damage to things like your liver, your lungs, things like that. And when these guys are exposed to that multiple times, and not just, we think of the IEDs and the roadside bombs because those are the ones that make the news headlines. We don't hear about the guy who went through a door and a grenade went off in the room next to him and a piece of shrapnel nicked him in the shoulder. That doesn't make nighttime news because it doesn't get ratings.
Right.
But that happens a lot more than we know about. And those guys also deal with TBI from the blast of those grenades.
It's the concussion, man. It's the sound. It's the sound waves that your brain can't hide from it. Like just like a man inside of a Humvee, the sound waves still go right through there, and you still get a concussion. And obviously, inside of a metal bucket, it gets louder, it reverberates, all that stuff, and then so your brain's inside of that metal bucket, which is also inside of your helmet, which is another bucket. So yeah, it's just sound waves bouncing everywhere, every which way.
Nothing
still
like
got a
sitting in a speaker box, huh?
we got a first time chatter here. Os Chev 888.
Hey, welcome in.
In regards to the ongoing physical issues after service, my mom is still dealing with health issues after her service with the ADF. I don't know what the ADS is. I'm assuming like maybe Australian Defense Forces. Is that right?
That's yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and so many people come out of the service in various countries. Doesn't matter what country you live in. Veterans, a veteran, combat veterans, combat veteran. Doesn't matter who they fought for. They've seen and done and been through the same things. And the ongoing physical and mental issues that come along with that, there's some pretty hard consequences to deal with. Yeah, good guess. Australian Defense Force. Personnel who've been in the military 35 years. Back a long time ago, the military never had a WPHS, so the amount of weight soldiers had to carry, especially those in warehousing.
Yeah,
So,
it's as an infantryman, I can tell you about carrying some weight, man. It does wonders for your feet and ankles and knees, hips, all that stuff. I used to be
right.
6 foot. I'm like 5'10.5" now. That's 100% fact.
Well,
All my shit's compressed.
my brother-in-law was airborne, and he never completed jump school. He was on his fifth jump, and fifth jump out there, I think 500 feet above ground, his chute was open, and another guy drove his chute underneath him and stole his air, and they hit the ground from 500 feet. Now, funny story. My sister met him online, and he was still in the military. He was in the process of getting out. He'd healed up from the accident, but he was being medically discharged. And she met him online. They talked back and forth for a few weeks and then started video chatting. Well, every time he would talk to her, it would be at night, and he would be laying in his bed, and his laptop would be on his chest, and he'd sit there and just type back and forth, and they'd talk and video chat. Well, like 3 months into this, she tells me, she's like, I'm going to marry this guy. I was like, you've never met him. You've never been on a date. She goes, no, I'm going to marry him. She goes, you don't understand. She goes, this guy is different from any guy I've ever met. And she goes, he's been through this. He had this accident, uh, messed his legs up, broke both his knees, and broke his back. And, he's been through all this. So, like a week after she tells me that, she's talking to him one night, video chatting, and he's like, hold on, I got to get something. And he gets up, sits the computer on the bed, and walks across the room. And she starts yelling at him, you son of a bitch, you can walk? And he goes, yeah, I can walk. Why wouldn't I be able to walk? She goes, you told me you jumped out of an airplane and hit the ground. And he said, I did. I hit the ground. I broke my legs and broke my back. She goes, but you can walk. And he said, yes, I can walk. Why wouldn't I be able to walk? And she goes, I thought you were paralyzed the whole time I've been talking to you. The funny thing is, though, she was going to marry him knowing in her mind that he was paralyzed and she would have to take care of him for the rest of her life. So, I mean, I got to give her credit for that. But anyways, my point being that, now he's better to the outside view. He walks, he gets around, but he has severe trouble with his knees. He's a gas truck driver, drives propane truck now. He has severe trouble with his knees, has severe trouble with his back. His ankles will swell up, like massively swell up for no reason. And all of that stems from falling 500 feet through the air and bouncing off the ground at 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, probably not real good on a human body.
No. Injuries coming from weight in the warehousing have...
That's another comment from Chev888, guys.
Right. Asking for help, saying that their injuries weren't from active duty, but my mom has helped quite a few people with this, that they were still doing active service in those injuries. That's a really good point. The fact that some people, because they weren't in combat, people tend to look at them and go, well, how could you possibly need medical care for that? You weren't in combat. You didn't take a bullet. No, but you can still hurt your back working in motor pool or working in the kitchen for that matter. You can slip and fall and break your back. You can pick up something wrong and tear a muscle. People get hurt and all kinds of stuff.
Speedy, can you use regular numbers? No one knows what a kilogram is. Come on.
American numbers.
Didn't you guys invent the imperial system? What'd you switch for? Shook the building. Yeah, I bet.
So yeah, I mean, really, really interesting topics, when it's surrounding injuries and how those injuries are cared for. And here in the United States, we have the VA. The VA is there to help those who are injured, whether you were injured in combat or whether you were injured in a warehouse, doesn't matter. If you need help filling out your paperwork, I'm going to say this again because we've said it before. You need help filling out your paperwork for the VA, reach out to us, patriotviewttv@gmail.com. We will connect you up with someone in your local area who can
For
help
sure.
you fill out your paperwork. They'll walk you through it step by step. We will definitely go out of our way to do that. It's
Speaking of which,
patriotviewttv@gmail.com.
say that again. Sorry, I cut you off.
patriotviewttv@gmail.com.
Speaking of helping someone, finding someone they need to talk to, did your buddy find the information I gave him useful?
He did. He's called. He hadn't got everything done yet, but he said he was supposed to be meeting with her, I think, sometime this coming week.
Hell yeah.
So hopefully that will work out. Why don't
There
you
you
go ahead
go.
and share those stories?
Who? Me?
Yeah, they
What
reached
stories?
out. They reached out to you. This is what we're all about, guys. We're here to help people. So I say we have Patriotic Veteran tell us what happened after last week's stream.
I got a message from somebody saying, "Hey, I got this guy from Alabama. Um, I guess he watched the stream. I didn't even ask really, but
He watched the video on YouTube.
okay, he watched the YouTube and said, don't know where to start, and so I was able to get on the old interwebs there and get a personal email and phone number from a lady who's a veteran advocate in his area for the county that he resides in, and that's why I asked if it went well. It sounds like he got into contact and he got a meeting set up. So, half the battle's knowing.
Yep, having the information, and so
Yeah,
that's what
Speedy,
we're
I
here
get
to do.
500 pounds. 550 pounder.
551.155.65546 pounds pi to the square. Yeah,
Yeah,
I hate math.
maths are hard.
Don't you hate smart kids? I
I
hate
got a
smart kids.
calculator.
Oh, so now here's the thing. All right, I'm not a vet. I did not serve in the military. I wanted to. Signed paperwork, didn't work out. Wasn't able to go due to medical reasons. Patriotic is a vet. He served. We're two guys that we're different. We have different backgrounds, but we have a common passion for helping our veterans and for educating our people. And so you may be sitting there, you might be thinking, well, I'm not a vet, how is that going to help? Just
Yeah, he definitely Googled that, by the way.
yeah, he did. Absolutely. um, but you may be sitting there as an average guy going, okay, so how does knowing this help me? How does knowing the VA has stuff available help me? Or how can I use that to help other people? So I'm going to give you a couple ways that you can get involved as a regular Joe who is not a veteran, who maybe doesn't have connections to the VA. One of the things that you can do, solid, if you've got those two links ready, we're going to go ahead and post those in chat. One of the things you can do as a regular Joe is to get involved with your local American Legion and get involved with your local VFW. Even if you're not in the American Legion or the VFW, they will help you by connecting you up with a local service officer who is involved in making policy change for veterans. Now, what these guys do, they literally meet with the senators and the congressmen in their state and they draft bills in favor of veterans. They help get things passed to enable veterans to get their medical benefits. They help get things passed that help streamline the process for them. They help get things passed that set up grants and things like that for veterans to help them out. And what you do, once you get with your local American Legion, you say, hey, what bills are you working on? What is the VFW getting drafted in my state for veterans? You get the names of those bills, and then you use these two links, the veteranshouse.gov. That will take you to the VA website where you can ask questions about the VA and they will respond to you. And then the house.gov representatives allows you to put in your local zip code and it gives you the information for who your senators and congressmen are in your local area. And you can use that to go straight to their website, get their phone numbers, all of their office locations. You can get their email, And what you do then is you contact your local senator, your local congressman, and say, hey, I support this bill, whatever the bill may be that's for veterans. Will you please vote in favor of this bill? And you say, well, that's not going to make a difference. I can tell you straight up that I have talked to my congressmen and my senators on the telephone. I've emailed them. I have a couple of them on Facebook Messenger. It does work. And when you reach out, even if you're the only person who reaches out in favor of that particular bill, the fact that somebody reached out is often enough to tip that congressman to, okay, maybe I should consider voting
How
for
many
this.
how many pieces of legislation or whatever do they see on a regular basis to where, like you said in last week, you said something about Tennessee did 900 in a year or something.
Yep. Tennessee
How,
did 918 pieces of new legislation last year alone.
so on those 918, how many times do you think someone reached out and said, "Hey, I think this is a good idea," or "Hey, I think this is a shit idea"? You know what I mean?
I got a better
Probably not.
question than
Probably
that.
not a lot. So hearing from
I would
someone
like
might.
to meet somebody from Tennessee, just an average Joe, who could name 10 of the 918 pieces of legislation that were passed last year. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't even know what they passed last year. A lot of that stuff takes place and it's not on the evening news. We are so uninformed as to what goes on within our own state.
Right.
So 918 pieces of legislation in one state alone last year. Now I happen to know that my local VFW officer has 16 bills in front of Congress and Senate right now, and these are bills that were drafted here in Tennessee to help our vets, and they are in front of the Senate and the Congress in Washington D.C. And these were drafted and written by local veterans who know what veterans need. They're working to put things in place for veterans. They're working to put things in place for the average Joe, for the guy who doesn't have $1 million to spend on a campaign to get elected so he can make change himself. These guys are the voice, and they'll give you the voice by using those two links in the information.
Hell yeah. What's up,
Hey,
Scruffy Tam? Welcome
Scrufytam.
in.
What's
You
up,
ready
buddy?
for this?
We are getting pretty close. Where are we at time wise? We still got time to keep
About
going?
12 minutes
Okay.
till break.
Okay, nice.
Oh, he's been lurking for a bit. Well, we're
Ah,
glad that you could have graced us with your presence a little early. You're a celebrity in our minds, Scruffy.
you know what,
Let's see what else
Patriotic?
we got. Yeah, what's going on?
Let's take on we got 12 minutes. Let's take on foreign aid. Let's look at foreign aid because I've heard a lot of people, make statements like, well, we shouldn't give aid to other countries when we have homeless and veterans,
You did this on
here.
purpose because I told you before the show if you open this box, I'm going for an
I'm,
hour.
I'm going to open it. You got 12 minutes. Go.
That's not enough. Okay. Stop giving money away. There's the answer. Stop giving money away. Well, like I don't know how much exactly we've given Ukraine, but it's too much. And I ain't got a problem. As someone who personally went overseas and fought for another country's freedom, I'm cool with that. 100% cool with that. I'll go anywhere you want. Just treat me like a mercenary. Pay my ass. Whenever we go, keep France from getting overtook. Make France foot the bill for that. Don't whenever Germany gets melted to the ground because they wanted to be assholes in the 1940s, make them foot the bill. Like quit. We shouldn't be doing this, helping them rebuild and all that stuff. Like that's my opinion. If we're gonna go liberate all of Europe, someone should have helped us pay some of that. How does America still have $900 trillion or whatever the number is in debt to all these countries that we kept from getting took over? Explain
Right.
that. It doesn't make any sense.
Why do we owe you?
Like with the Ukraine Russian, whatever you want to call it, agenda, I suppose, right now. Like, why are we just sending them money in tanks? We just gave them $22 billion and then $300 million in tanks. Like, why don't we just? I guarantee you, we
Actually,
got 25-year-old men in uniform right now that are ready to go kick somebody's ass.
in 2022, according to the Council on Foreign Relations, the U.S. sent nearly $50 billion to Ukraine. Now, let me say this. I believe in what the Ukrainian people are doing. They are fighting for their liberation. They're fighting for their independence. They're fighting the same battle that America fought 250 years ago. And if it hadn't been for France coming to our aid then, we would have lost the revolution. We'd still be drinking tea and paying taxes to King George. I believe that.
He's talking the same language as Speedy, probably.
I do, yeah. We'd be conversing with Speedy with the accent that all the younger girls think is so cute, and neither of us have.
Oh, you think it's cute too? Don't lie.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. So So I believe in what they're doing. I don't believe that a country in debt should go further in debt in order to assist that
Are we
country.
really in debt though? Let's talk about that for a second. Are we really in debt? Like somewhere on somebody's books it says the U.S. owes this country this and this country this and this country, right? Come get it. China, I owe you so much money. Come get it. Are we really in debt? We're never going to pay that back. Everybody knows that, right? I know it.
No, it just keeps growing.
Yeah, we don't. It's just a fake number. They're never coming to get it.
But Scruffy brings up an interesting point too. Now that we have our independence, we have our freedom from England. Now we're being taxed by our own people and being taxed to death. When you make a paycheck, that paycheck is taxed with income tax. When you buy a house with that money, that house is taxed with property tax. When you buy anything at the store, you're taxed for sales tax. When you die, you pay a death tax. We literally are taxed to death from within our own country now, and
Reagan said that
that is a 2 hour conversation.
no empire in the history of man with a taxation of over 33% has ever survived.
Truth.
So that was a pretty smart guy, I think. Too many taxes, Alabama says. Isn't there something one of our good old documents that says we can't be taxed? That's actually illegal. That comes. I don't know,
It's,
Salabanda. Is there?
it's actually so the Declaration of Independence, the War for Independence, all started on a belief that we should not be taxed without being properly represented. What happened was King George and his government, his parliament in England, started taxing all of the goods that we were importing to our country, and it was costing us out the nose to purchase those goods. We were not allowed to speak up and say, this is not fair. We don't mind paying taxes, but let's make them fair taxes. The difference is today, we are allowed to speak up, but we don't speak up. We are not being taxed without
Solid head
representation.
down on that one.
We
Affirm.
all have senators, we all have congressmen, we all have representatives who represent us. But it takes you clicking those links that I just gave you to find your local senator, to find your local congressman, and speak up. Tell them, hey, look, this is ridiculous. Shelby County, Tennessee, last year, my buddy bought a house here 30 something years ago. Last year, he made one improvement on it. He ordered a $700 metal carport. I know you guys have seen the commercials for them on TV.
Where do you get them for $700 for?
It's a $795 carport kit that you put up yourself, and it's literally just a little metal roof with metal ribs that come down and it screws to it. There's no walls, there's no door, nothing.
Yeah, I
He
got
put
one. Those
that
are
on
like
his
2,000.
property. He put that on his property. His property taxes went up 59% in 1 year
Heck yeah.
because he added that. That that's wrong. But unless he's going to call his congressman or his state, actually this would be his county government that he needs to contact, and he's going to say, "Hey, you're taxing me too much. Hey, you're ripping me off. This isn't right." Unless he's going to do that, then he can't complain about it because
Right.
he's
Does
been
he go to Does he
represented.
go to county board meetings?
Yes, he does. And this guy that I'm talking about, he actually is very active, and I think him and quite a few other homeowners in Shelby County went to the county board meetings last year over
What
that because
about what about all the
everybody's
people?
taxes went up.
What about the people out there in Facebook land that got a problem with the way our country or whatever other country is being run, that aren't going to their county board meetings, aren't trying to run for mayor so they can get involved and actually make changes, and definitely aren't calling that website or going to that website or calling their reps.
If you aren't doing something physical to affect the change, you got no business being on Facebook crying about it.
So what you're saying is don't talk about it, be about it.
That's right. You
I knew
can't
it.
change the world, but you can change the world around you, as I always say. So we got our 5 minute warning. So what can we cover in 5 minutes?
Oh, we can cover a Chinese spy balloon. What the heck is that, and is it real?
Is it Chinese?
Right. What was that? What were they really hiding? Why was the media covering that so hard? What did they want us to see? That's what I
Yeah.
ask.
What that's something we should look into this coming week is what all got passed in the House and Senate while that Chinese balloon story was going on. Because in case y'all didn't notice, last year we had the whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard blow up that was literally every second of that trial was live streamed to hundreds of platforms and televised all over the place. What you may not have realized is at the same time, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was on trial for child sex trafficking through Jeffrey Epstein. Her trial took place, and less than 10 minutes of that trial was aired. Now, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard might make for good entertainment. That is not what we should be focused on as a country. You want to find out about them, find out about them, fine. Don't flood my airwaves with them to the point that I cannot get the information that I need to have. Like, why do we have politicians whose names are on Jeffrey Epstein's guest list but were never released to the public? Why have there been no FBI raids on those houses? Because I'm going to go on and tell you, if my next door neighbor were to be trafficking children and the FBI found out about it, everybody in his neighborhood would know because they'd have black vehicles lined up out to the end of the street. Just saying. We find ourselves getting misled by the news media. And I would like to know what happened while that balloon was in the air that kept us so focused on the balloon we missed.
Yeah, that's definitely something we're gonna have to look into. Something happened.
Let's make a point of doing
Something
that.
happens during everyone. Like when we had the big Ebola scare, like was that Obama with the
Ebola?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden we had the forced health
murder
care for
hornets.
everyone.
There's another good one. The
Yeah.
murder hornets. Oh, the murder hornets are coming.
Yeah,
Shit. Let me pick up my fly swat.
the
I'll
African
take
killer
care of
bees.
that.
They're migrating up from South America. Wait, I thought they're African. What's
Right.
happening? Heck yeah.
Good catch, Solid.
Yeah, what the heck was that guy about? Anyways, looks like we're about 3 minutes from break. I'm good with cutting in a break now. I know I could use a potty break, and then we got to probably do some comms checks with our guests and stuff.
Right. So you guys stick around. Those of you who weren't here at the beginning of the show, we're going to take about a 3.5 minute break, and we have a special video for you guys to watch during the break today. I spotted this video, and it brought me to tears. So take 3 minutes, watch this video. We'll be back live in 3 minutes, and we'll be coming back live with Scrufytam.
Heck yeah. Let's go to break.
3 teens were arrested today for defacing the Kensington Park War Memorial overnight. The destruction includes painted messages against the military and the war in the Middle East. The 3 teens were picked up in the early morning hours after evidence was left at the scene.
Grandpa, something wrong?
Some people sure have short memories, and those who are too young to know need to be taught. Come on, I want to show you guys something.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
At dawn on the morning of the 6th of June, 1944, 225 Rangers jumped off the British landing craft and ran to the bottom of these cliffs. 225 came here. After 2 days of fighting, only 90 could still bear arms. These are the boys of Puente Hope. These are the men who took the cliffs. These are the champions who helped free a continent. These are the heroes who helped end a war. You are men who in your, quote, lives fought for life and left the vivid air signed with your honor.
In the name of God and country, I learned to defy gravity.
To honor my family,
I lived in the belly of a beast.
I fixed the hearts of iron monsters.
I became a worm in the mud for dignity.
for honor, for righteousness' sake, for God and country.
I fought for you.
I fought for you.
For you.
I fought for you. I fought for you. I fought for you.
I fought for you.
For you.
For you.
For you.
For you.
I fought for you.
I fought for you.
I fought for you, and I do it again.
one of which is for your mic. So Scruffy is a streamer here on Twitch. He's a close friend of mine. He and I have spent a lot of time talking. He's a big audio tech guy. He is the soxiest man on Twitch. And I truly love this guy like a brother. He's really into Jeeps and auto mechanics. You can see his nice blue Jeep Wrangler there. And then he also teaches at Piedmont Technical College, where he is the instructor of automobile technology. And you can see some of the pictures here of the car shows that his students put on last year. Just a really great guy. But you know what? The one thing that ties Scruffy and I together, probably as close as our faith, is the fact that both of us love this country. We love our troops and we love our veterans. And in this last slide that's going to come up here, you'll see his Jeep is all ready to go, decked out with flags, ready for a veterans parade. And this man is somebody that I've come really close to over the last couple of years on Twitch. Scruffy, it's good to have you with us.
Oh man, it's awesome to be here. Thank you for having me.
What's up, Scruffy?
What's up, dude? How are you?
Thank Good. How you been?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on here, man.
Oh, thank you.
All right, let's see. Let me.
So, did you watch our stream so far?
I did. I caught about the last, 20 minutes to a half hour of it.
What'd you think? Sound good? Look good?
Oh, heck yeah, man.
Awesome.
So I will make sure that you get a link to the video that we showed during the break. I know you were setting up. I want you to see that video, brother. I ain't kidding you. When I found that video yesterday, I watched it 3 times with tears in my eyes before I sent it to Patriotic. I said, I have to get permission to use this. And I was actually on a Saturday, I was able to make a phone call to a sound studio and get directly through to a movie studio and get directly through to the guy who produced the video. And he was super stoked about letting us use it. Just really cool group. So I'll make sure you get that.
Oh, that's cool.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about you, why you got started in gaming and why you got started streaming on Twitch?
Wow. So we got like 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All the time you need.
So as a kid, I grew up in the 70s as a kid, and it was the very beginning of gaming. So, it's really cool to see all the generations of gaming that's happened since then. And we talk about it often during my streams. But I started out with Pong. A lot of y'all have heard Pong, heard of
2
Pong.
rocks and a paddle.
Yeah, not beer pong, but actually, yeah. So you actually have this rectangular box with just a knob on it.
Yeah.
You hooked it up to your TV, and there's 2 little, things going like this, and a little square ball bouncing between them. So that's how I started out my gaming, and I progressed through. Oh gosh, we had a couple of Atari consoles, ColecoVision.
Yep, I had a ColecoVision growing up.
Oh man, some cool stuff. So I've had every Nintendo console that there was, except they had some kind of a VR console way back when that really sucked. I didn't have it.
Did you have the Power Glove for Nintendo?
No, I wanted it. That's so
I
awesome.
always wanted the Power Glove, and I never owned one.
Yep. So, always been a gamer, and I'm an instructor, as you said, at a local college here. I teach automotive technology, and I try to not necessarily get on my students' level, because that's not always a good thing, but I try to put myself in their shoes and relate to them, I guess is a better way to put that. So we can actually, from where we sit as instructors, we can see all the students' computers and what they're looking at. And one day I had a student that was watching somebody play some video game. I don't know who it was or even what game it was. Some first person shooter. So I just asked him, said, dude, what is that you're watching? And he said it's, so and so playing whatever game it is. And I thought, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of, to watch someone else play a video game.
Who would have thought, right?
Exactly. I just thought that was the stupidest thing. So of course, then they wanted to know, are you on Twitch? And so quickly, I said yes. And then quickly I set up a profile just as a joke to him. And so my original name on Twitch was Thanos Squad, because my students at the time actually called me Thanos. So I sent a couple joke pictures to see.
I didn't get a chance to get those in the slideshow, but I saw them. That had me laughing.
So yeah, my nickname was Thanos for obvious reasons. And so I set that up, and that got me really, kind of reeled me into Twitch. I was playing Splatoon 2 at the time, a Nintendo game, and I wanted to get some strategy. So I said, I'll just look and see who's playing Splatoon, see if I can figure something else. And then I was in. So after about a year, I said, it would be cool, because I do have some friends on my Nintendo, but I don't really know them. They're just people that I play with every now and then, and we chat through the stupid Nintendo chat thing. So I said, I'll stream and actually play with people that I can chat with real time, and here I am.
Right. Now you stream primarily flight sim now, correct?
I do now, yeah.
Right. But you've streamed other stuff in the past. I know you said you were a variety streamer for a long time. So why don't you tell us about your socks? This is the things that those of you who know Scruffy, this is what he's famous for. Those who don't know him, you gotta hear this.
So the socks I have always worn, not always, but for a long time have worn just mismatched socks. You're solid, man. As a streamer, when I first started out, I thought I had to have some kind of thing to separate me from
A
everybody
gimmick
else.
for sure.
Right.
And I thought me being an old guy would be enough.
Nah,
It wasn't.
there's a bunch of us on Twitch, brother.
And dude, I had no idea. I am
Yeah,
totally
you guys got the
shocked.
same haircut, I noticed.
Yeah. Oh, I love this haircut, man.
Same barber, part it wide in the middle.
That's right. Low maintenance. Low maintenance. Um. So less interference between me and God when I'm praying.
There you
No
go.
hair to get in the way. It
There you
doesn't
Makes
go.
filter it.
sense.
Nothing you can set on fire with a lightning bolt either.
That's right. But seriously, I thought that I would be, one of very few old guys. But man, was I wrong. There's a lot of people older than I am. I mean, older than 35, even. Than I'm
Older than
hey, I'm
35.
54.
Nice try.
I was outside this morning. I seen some dirt that was younger than you.
But anyway, so
His first copy of Windows was on the Ark.
so I was trying to, I said, why not do a sock cam? I've never seen anyone else do that. It'd be
Yeah.
something that makes me unique to, I forgot what I was playing at the time. Again, I was just doing variety. It'll make me unique, and we'll try that out and see. And it's really become a thing. People started calling me Lord of Socks, and
I still
here I
say
am.
the Soxiest stream on Twitch. It's
Right.
just, it's so incredible. So I know one of the things that you and I have talked about in depth over the phone and in Discord is mental health. How does gaming, how does the Twitch community, how does that affect mental health? Do you see that as being a positive thing or a negative thing?
Ooh, it goes both ways. So I personally am a fairly stable, mentally wise person.
We could
And
argue that all day.
well, I was going to go there. Yeah, Lord of Butchered Landings. Thank you for front of me. But before I started streaming, I would see people be like, I've got to cancel for whatever reason. I'm like, that's just a bunch of crap or whatever. But it's always easy to judge someone until you're in their shoes. So
Yep. Or socks.
Or in their socks.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So my daughter suffers from mental health, and she doesn't mind. I mean, she would if she was here, she would be on here talking about it. So I've not really been familiar with that until I experienced it with her and several others in the community now. And I also, the older I get, the more it's hard for me to focus on more than a couple things at a time and stuff. So anyways, back to your question. To an extent, within boundaries, gaming is a good way to get away from it all. It's just get your mind off things, and get involved, get in depth in the game,
Immersed.
and forget it. Yeah, immersed. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Immersed in the game, and forget real life for a little while. However, on the other hand, it can become a real issue because a big part of mental health is being around others and realizing that you're not alone in whatever it is you're going through. And I say that you're not
Meat
alone.
Shield says it right there in chat. Community.
Yes,
Community's a
yes,
big
you
thing.
have to have a community both in, in the game, in the sim, whatever it is you're doing, but also in real life. You have to have people that are like you that you can sit with and talk with, or call them on the phone and talk with them and just chat, because without that you feel like you're all alone in whatever huge ocean of a problem. And y'all know when you're
But
going
we're
through
pack animals, right? Humans are pack animals. There's no replacement or substitute for human contact. Period.
That's true.
Right, when you're going through something you feel like you're going through it all alone, and that's not, it's not true. No matter what it is you're going through, you're not the only one. um and so yeah, I mean there has to be a balance there.
Right.
For sure.
And I would say, from my own personal perspective, for those of you who stream on Twitch, when it comes to mental health, one of the biggest things that I see in communities like Twitch, on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, don't focus on the number of people that are watching what you do. It doesn't matter how many people come to watch this stream. Patriotic Veteran and I are going to still do it, whether we have just our producer and our mod here, if our mod shows up, um, or whether we have 20, 50, 100,000 people watching the stream. We're going to do the same thing, because at the end of the day, it's not about how many people watched. It's about how many people were helped. Last week, we had a veteran. We were able to connect up with VA services and get him the help that he needed. That's what mattered, was the fact that one person watched our video. He didn't even watch the live stream. He watched the video on YouTube afterwards. And he reached out to me and he said, "Hey, you said you can connect me up. How do I get started on this disability thing? I've been putting this off because I don't know how to do it." That's what matters. And so don't focus on the number of people that watch your stream. Focus on the number of people you connect with through your stream, and build that community. I mean, Patriotic and Scruffy and I, we've all got communities that are interconnected through different things. And Iceman too. Iceman's community is very heavily connected with us. Some of his guys that truck with him come and truck with us, and they come play Red Dead with us, and a lot of them also fly with you. So it's about networking and community. How do you see gaming and streaming as a means of reaching out? Do you find that you're able to connect with people in your stream on a personal level?
Oh heck yes, I love to. um so I'm going to go back and speak to the numbers just really really quick,
Yeah.
because my previous job before I did what I did now was a service manager at a dealership. Did that for 14 years, and when you're a manager you have to focus on numbers. So I've got to admit I am guilty of looking at the number too much. And but yeah, that's a huge piece of advice. Forget the numbers. Remember what you came to stream for, and that's just to have fun and enjoy other people playing what you love. And
Right.
that's a big part of growing a community, is just doing what you love and doing it because you love it, not because you're trying to, reach certain goals or whatever. And trust me, I have to remind myself of that a lot. And
Yeah.
I've been humbled several times.
Tell us about Ava's fundraiser. I should have brought that up. Why don't you tell us about that? Infidel Fireman brought up a great example of you reaching into your community on a personal level.
Yeah, so let me just let me just say this personally. I have very strong religious beliefs, and I say that on stream. I don't talk about my beliefs on stream because I feel like I want everyone to feel invited and welcome to my stream. My streams are everybody, no matter how you identify or whatever. And whatever you do on your stream is okay. I'm not going to judge you for what you do.
Right.
Um, but one of the reasons I started streaming is I wanted to make a difference in the world. And now I don't, as much as I would love to convert everyone to the way I believe religiously. Realistically, I know that's not going to happen. I have had the opportunity off stream to talk to some people, but again, I wanted to make a difference. So in March of last year, I wanted to do a fundraiser for I was on spring break from school for a week, and I wanted to do a fundraiser. I'll get to Ava in just a minute. I want to talk about this one. So I wanted to do a fundraiser, and I wanted to do it for the entire week. And I was just looking through different charities to support. And back, oh, I don't know, several years ago, there was a band called August Burns Red that I was a big fan of. They're a heavy metal band. So I was looking through charities, and their charities heart support and their mental health charities. So I said,
I
hey,
remember that stream.
yeah, I'm gonna do a charity for do a stream for heart support. Met the goal first day, and I was holy crap. So I increased the goal, and we hit that goal. And so it was just mind blowing to me that I made a difference. Well, then I've hooked up with Fly Lilo, who's a disabled gamer, and if y'all haven't seen Fly Lilo, go check it out. Just
give him a follow for sure.
Yes, mind blowing the things that the human body can do when you're disabled. So I was going to do a fundraiser for them, and I heard about this girl. I was in Sunday school actually, and another individual in my class was just talking about this family that they did gymnastics with their daughter, and her name, the girl's name is Ava Boyder, and she's 10 years old. She had gotten cancer. I mean, not big, but a very athletic, beautiful child. Just the picture of health, if you were to look at her.
Right.
Got cancer, very aggressive cancer, terminal cancer. And so I immediately called that individual over and said, give me some more information. I want to do a fundraiser for this family for medical expenses. And this will be, I have a platform that I can, reach people worldwide and make a difference, people that want to help and make a difference. So got their information, and turns out I did know the family. And before I was able to, of course, this was on a Sunday. They found out on Thursday or Friday before that Sunday. And then I forgot when I was going to do the stream. So anyways, it turns out Ava ended up passing away before I had a chance to do the stream. And I was devastated. I mean, it just, because I've got grandchildren that age.
Yeah, I've got twin daughters that age.
And then I was kind of in a bind, because I said, do I do the stream now? Are people going to give to a cause to where we're not really helping a young lady overcome cancer? Now we're helping a grieving family overcome their loss and having to still pay medical expenses, plus bury their daughter. And I said, you know what? The reason I started streaming was to make a difference in the world. I'm going to do it and see what happens. And holy crap, I was blown away. We raised $2,405.
The community came out in a big way.
Just amazing.
It's been interesting to watch you over the last couple of years, my friend, to see the things that you've done. I know that you've reached out and touched my life personally just by giving me somebody that I can call and talk to. Speaking of which, when you get a chance, shoot me a text. My phone got wet and died, and I lost all my contacts, so I don't have your number anymore.
I deleted you, so I don't have yours either.
Oh, okay. Well, that's how that
Hell
works.
yeah.
You sent the rain, didn't you? Speaking of water and electronics, Chili mentioned a few minutes ago in chat, Chili Willie mentioned to remind you that electronics and hot tubs don't play well together.
Right.
So this is our second episode and our first hot tub stream.
I told you we'd have a hot tub stream.
Woo! We win. So Patriotic, do you have any questions for Scruffy? I know that I've spent a lot more time around him than you have, but what questions do you have for him?
I have a question as I won't even say up and coming streamer, because I'm not sure that I'm going up, right? But how can you grow your community? How can I grow my community as a beginning low level streamer? How can I make my channel better? Are there any tips, hints, cheats that make your channel so attractive for all these different types of people that come and watch you?
Hot tubs.
Yeah, that's a tough question, and I've been asked so many times that I've said I'm going to do a YouTube video, but I don't want to seem like a what's the word, Infidel Fireman? What's the word for people that feel like they're all that and everything?
Conceited.
Yeah, conceited, but there's another word for it.
Narcissistic.
Too. Yeah, narcissistic. I don't want to seem narcissistic. Thank you.
I can't spell it, so you're good.
By the way, also, speaking of connecting with the community, I love to connect to the community. I've got several people's personal phone numbers, and we talk and text on a regular basis. And I love people to DM me on Discord. I want to be available and not be some, because I'm not. I'm a regular guy. I don't care who says what. I'm a regular guy who just I don't know. I've been blessed with an awesome community of people. So
I'd be willing to bet that your community is here right now. I'd be willing to bet that. So we have 23 people in
Yeah.
chat. If you follow Scruffy, just type me in chat. I want him
Yeah.
to see something.
Chat's getting ready to blow up.
I follow Scruffy, so that's one me solid. Skid marks, Rock,
Oh yeah.
Speedy, Chev, Chili Willy. We got people in here. Infidel Fireman said, "Nah, we have people here that follow your community. Came to our stream to watch you on our stream. That's how you know that you've made a difference in your community, my friend. Is that people will go where you are at because they enjoy to be around you."
Heck yeah. I said the same thing about Iceman. He's a great dude. You know, I told him I was gonna steal his chicken dance so I could get famous. But you know, one day I was on his stream and I didn't even know that his helicopter had stopped for like 10 minutes. It
was frozen in the air.
Yeah, it was frozen in the air, and me and my buddies are all in there just BSing with him and having a great old time. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute, he's still over the same pond he was 10 minutes ago. We didn't even know. We were just there to hang out with Iceman, and you're the same type of way. People just they come just to be with you. They enjoy your personality. You're charismatic. And you always bring a good positive attitude to the room, is what I've noticed, anyways.
Thank you.
So we're appreciative that you gave us your time today, for sure.
Oh man, I love it. Thank you.
To circle back, as Jim Pisaki would say, he was asking how he could grow his stream. Yeah, I had to get that one in there. You leave me alone.
Well, let me circle back to that.
Back, girl.
So, thank you for pivoting us back. So, yeah, for me, the things that I do that I feel like would help grow a channel is, number one, don't do sub only chat and followers only chat, because I'm going to tell you, when I go to raid somebody, if I see followers only chat, I'm not going to raid you, because I don't want my people to feel forced to have to follow you. And I get there is a mindset out there that says, hey, if I do followers only chat, then people will follow me just so they can chat. What's going to happen is people are going to see that and they're going to say, I don't even know who this guy is, and he's wanting me to follow. I'm out. I'll go find somebody
or
else.
They'll follow and unfollow immediately.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then sub only chats, just honestly being greedy, just my opinion. Okay. Second thing is, welcome everybody in. Welcome everybody in, and no matter what, and this is going to be tough for possibly for a channel like this. No matter what your view is, don't put them down. And I know you, and don't take that the wrong way.
That's one thing we try to enforce here, actually, is the fact that people with all different views are welcome to come and voice their opinions, as long as they're not being critical of somebody else. If they're willing to have a discussion, that's what we're here for. We want the controversy, because the only way that we learn is by learning what all the different ways to look at something is.
Perfect. Yep. And focus on chat. When someone comes in, oh good Lord, one of my biggest pet peeves is coming into someone's channel. And I saw someone earlier say they streamed to one person or 0 people. I can't remember who that was.
I did that for a long time.
How often he streams to himself? Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, dude, it's okay. It's okay. But what you have to do, you have to do this. Anything that comes to your mind when you're streaming, whatever game you're playing, whatever you're flying, whatever you're doing, whatever you're thinking, say it out loud. Because if someone comes to your channel, a foot cam is absolutely necessary. If someone comes to your channel and they don't hear you talking, they're going to be out. People are looking for a relationship.
Probably a camera too helps, right?
Yes, a camera helps too.
Camera does help.
That's one thing I didn't put on my list. I've got a list over here. Excuse me. So yes, and good Lord, I'm so sorry. Not doing that either. If you heard what I just did.
I didn't.
No, but I catch the drift.
You need me to pull your finger?
No, I by accident. So yeah, don't Always focus on chat, always, and whatever you're doing with whatever game you're playing, think out loud, because again, people want friendship. That's why we're all here. A lot of us, many of us, don't have many in real life friends. I don't have many in real life friends. I know Infidel Fireman doesn't either, and we've talked about that, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying
I
that.
don't.
You know,
I
and
don't
so
have a lot of friends. I know a lot of people.
right, yeah,
There's a
and
difference.
same here. What I find, the people that in real life in my town, I had someone two people blowing me up this weekend. The only times I hear from them, number one is, what drone should I buy so that I can take work away from your business? And the second one is, I got something wrong with my car. Can you help me with it? People that I never hear from.
Yep.
So you
Tell 'em
Hell,
to
guys,
that's
look.
the way it goes with family half the time, isn't it?
that's true.
Tell them to look for a Reaper. They can find those on government auction websites. That's a good one. It'll take
There you
business away from anybody.
So anyways, people are looking for someone to be their friend, and so always talk and communicate with chat. I focus on chat a lot, sometimes to the detriment of my aircraft.
That's pretty sound. That
Honestly,
rings true with me. I mean, I go watch. I'm not going to call anybody out by name or anybody. I frequently check in anytime, like you're on, Iceman's on, Okando's on. Like I'll check in with all of them guys, and if ever I hop in the chat and I'm like, hey man, how's it going? How's your stream today? And I don't get a response. I'm like, that sucks. That hurts my feelings.
Yep,
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
definitely. Slow chat. That's another one on my list. I was just checking my list for when I eventually do my videos. Slow chat also is a killer too, unless
I don't
if
know what
you're a
that
really
is.
big streamer.
if you got 1,000 people in there, I can see slow chat
Mhm.
being useful. With 20, 50, 100 viewers, you can pretty well keep up. Now, I can see somebody who streams something like maybe Warzone or Arma being in the middle of a firefight. They're going to miss a lot of stuff, or even truck sim. There's times when I'm doing truck sim that even though I have the overlay up on my screen, I can't read chat because I'm shifting gears and
And your
weaving in and out
truck's
of
probably
traffic. And
upside down,
I'm
rolling
probably
down the
upside
interstate.
down in a ditch, you know. So I'm not reading chat at that moment. But for the most part, you can keep up. And the crazy thing, I'm glad he asked that question because I know for a fact we have at least one streamer in here who has asked me that question or mentioned that they wanted to start building their stream, but they weren't really sure how to start. So this is actually really good advice for anybody that's a streamer on Twitch.
Another big piece of advice that I would give. Hey, there's one of my students actually.
Nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Welcome.
Nigel Doom.
Welcome
Um,
in. See, your community follows you.
One of the biggest pieces of advice that I could give someone is raid. No
Yes.
matter if you have one person, raid. And these were my rules when I raided. When I started out with 0 viewers, just like everybody else did, and 0 followers. But my rule for raiding was, and I learned this after one raid that I had, like, I don't know, 5 people, and I raided someone that had hundreds, and I just felt like a complete idiot, and they
Mhm.
made me feel like crap. So whenever your stream's over, raid someone that is your size or smaller, but no more than 5 viewers more than what you already have.
That's
Okay.
a good rule.
Yep. And
So
what that's gonna do? Go
I
ahead.
rated you,
Mhm.
and you followed me because of that.
See, I'm
And
taking
then
notes. I'm also a student.
Ah, cool. There you go.
a couple days later, and this was back when it was literally me watching my stream with one other guy. I had one viewer who found my stream the first night I streamed FSX, and when I got done, it was like midnight, and he's like, "Do you think you could help me set up my honeycomb yoke and throttle?" And I'm like, "Well, I've never had anything that nice, but I imagine it's the same thing as this SciTech that I fly with, just a little different terminology maybe." And I agreed to help him. So I spent 2 hours on stream with him sharing his screen with me in Discord, and I'm
Share
walking
your
him through it.
screen.
Yeah, famous.
5
That
points.
that is going to become my channel slogan. Share your screen. And Scruffy has heard me say that before too.
What?
Um, so I helped him set up his flight yoke, and it turned out he had been trying to get in touch with me for 3 weeks.
Ciao,
Now he
Supremo.
didn't know who I was, but he had spotted an article that I wrote back in 2014 on how to build a homemade set of rudder pedals out of a Lazy Susan and a joystick. And he saw the article and he asked all around the forums. They said, "We don't know. This guy hadn't been active in 5 years. Nobody knew how to get in touch with me." And when I walked him through that and I was talking with him, I explained to him that I'd built some stuff for my sim. And I mentioned that I started with a homemade set of rudder pedals. He goes, hold on. Did you build those out of like a spice rack and a joystick by chance? And I said, yeah, I did. He goes, I read your article on AvSim. I'm like, are you kidding me? He goes, no. He said, I have been trying for like 3 weeks to find somebody who knew you because I've been trying for 3 weeks to make this work. And so I was able to help him out. And so me and him, it was just me and him. We rated Ooh Can Do one day. And he had like 47, 48 people watching him. And I thought nothing about it. Now at this point, I'm averaging 1.2 viewers per stream. And I'm
Your computer
streaming.
and your cell phone.
Yeah, my computer and
Yeah.
my cell phone. Yeah. And I'm streaming like 6 hour long streams because I didn't get smart enough to go read that you shouldn't stream huge streams when you first start and you should space them out. I didn't know that. And I rated Ooh Can Do. All right, I didn't think anything about it. 2 days later, Ooh Can Do rated my stream with 47 people who sat there with me for 6 hours afterwards, and he pushed me to affiliate in one stream from a
That's awesome.
1.2 viewer average to like 3.8, and we've been growing ever since then. So when you say raid, I completely agree with you. Raid, 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 because even if it's just you, a small streamer like me or Scruffy, who's got the bigger flight sim streams, we appreciate people like that, and we will come raid you back for the specific purpose of helping you build your community.
Sure
Yeah,
do.
I know one time I was iRacing and I literally had like 3 viewers I think at the time, and I was just getting started streaming. Like I had a crappy camera, didn't have good lighting or background like I got now. Just me in my living room, man. And I was just iRacing, having a little whiskey drink, having fun by myself, and decided that like, hey, people probably want to see this. So I started up all. That was what I think Twitch had the desktop then. I didn't have Streamlabs or nothing, and man, I got rated by a dude who brought 102 viewers to my channel like that. And it meant the world. I was like, holy shnikes,
Yeah.
what do we do now? Like, I'm nervous, but yeah, it was awesome. Of course, I immediately went to that dude's channel and hit subscribe. Like, to return the favor. It's all a community. You're a big part of it.
Solid Band has a question. When did
Uh-oh.
you all meet? So I met Scruffy actually shortly after I met you, Solid. I met you and Elf playing Warzone about 3 years ago now, I think. And then I met Scruffy about 2 years ago. I think I've been following. I can go to your channel, I guess, and see what my follow age is. Um, I'm curious about that now. Patriotic, me and you met through Peter Neuter's channel, which is an iRacing channel. I don't even have iRacing. I just enjoyed watching this guy. He doesn't race. He literally broadcasts other people racing. And every time I go in there, it's like watching an ESPN broadcast of a real race. And I just always enjoyed his
Dude, it
energy.
is. Like the first time I met him, I had a race going, and him and his boys joined my race, like in iRacing. And then he was like, hey, do you mind if he got on comms with me? He's like, hey, do you mind if I announce my stream on here? And I'm like, no, man, it's cool. Go ahead. Well, he announced the stream, and I clicked the thing, and I parked my car in the pits, and he had started his stream, or I had clicked into a stream right as my car was pulling out of the pits to do 2 laps, practice laps. And he's like, it now comes out, and said my name and everything, number 82, the Mountain Dew car. I'm like, man, like I got goosebumps. I'm like, this dude's awesome at what he does. He's a true thrill to watch. Is it SLR0X?
Yeah, and he's a lot of fun to watch, and he's interactive with chat.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I couldn't figure out how to pull my follow age up without you actually being live. But I think I've been following you about 2 years. And what made me fall in love with Scruffy's stream is the fact that he is so interactive that even when I popped in there and he had like 40 people in there, I said hi, and he took a minute to welcome a new chatter to his stream and say hi to me. And we talked back and forth. We talked flight sim. I could type a question to him in chat. He would answer it. And like he said, even sometimes to the detriment of his aircraft. And I tried to learn from that. And Scruffy, you've probably seen this. There have been times when I'm on my stream and we've spent an hour and a half sitting on the tarmac at an airport so I can help somebody else get into the flight sim, because it's more fun with more people. It's community.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I met Scruffy about 2 years ago. Met Patriotic about a year ago. I don't know when Patriotic and Scruffy connected. They may have connected through me.
I found him whenever you got me into flight sim. I just started watching different flight sim guys streaming, and he was just on one day, and I clicked, and that was it. And
And the suggested.
yeah,
I found
and
him
because
through
he's so
Can Do.
interactive, I stayed.
I found him through Can Do. He came into Can Do's channel one day, and Can Do shouted him out as another flight sim streamer. And I wasn't following but like 3 people at the time, so why not? I clicked on his stream and followed it. And then next time he went live and I saw him, I went in to say hi.
Heck yeah.
And we've been there ever since. And I don't catch the number of streams that I should catch, but I catch all of them that I can. And if you guys have not followed Scruffy, if you want some good, wholesome entertainment that is family friendly, it's suitable for small kids. It's a lot of fun. Check out his stream. There's the link right there. And this guy, he'll take you to some awesome places in flight sim.
Sometime into some really cool trees too.
Yeah, we've seen a few trees up close and personal, upside down at times. If you want to see the trees, fly with Scruffy. If you want to see the ditch, ride with Cowboy. That's how it works.
Absolutely.
So, one more point on the raids is if you know somebody like me, for example, I know a lot of people. And so if you're that smaller streamer with 1 or 5 or 15 or however many people, then if you are already known in that community, by all means raid them. If they're if they got 200 people and they know you, by all means raid. But just don't raid people that you don't know, that are really large communities. And so the reason I say to raid with only people your size or 5 viewers more than what you already have is you're going to find a variety of people that to raid for, first of all, and then that's going to get Lord.
Guess whose alert box is up?
Sorry about
Congrats
that.
on the follow there.
That is stellar. Thank you. That is our producer.
Yeah.
That is our executive producer.
Cowboy will have that in a bloopers reel later this week.
That will clip that, please. That is awesome. That's going to be the clip that plays anytime you show up in our channel. I'm going to make sure that clip plays.
I've got stream sounds run through OBS. I mean, OBS, stream sounds run through Discord because I've got a couple people that like to listen to the stream in Discord. So, anyways, wow, sorry about that.
No, don't worry.
So, anyways, by doing that, you spread your name throughout a bunch of different channels, and then you get to grow that way. But the flight sim community is so tight knit, anyways, that pretty much everybody knows everybody. But if you're just getting into flight sim, raid some smaller people first, get your name out there, let people know that you're a streamer. And then the first time I raided somebody, somebody huge, I had 35 viewers, and I was like, oh, heck yeah, I'm fixing a raid, and I'm not going to name their name. And I raided them. They had 300 and something people. I raided them, and I got totally ignored. No welcome or anything like that. And I had a lot of people follow, and then a lot of those people unfollowed. And now I am friends with that person now. And I understand they were just busy and they missed the raid. It's understandable. It happens. It happens. But it really
spend some
hurt
time in their chat. Spend some time in their chat. Get to know them. And then raid them. The more time you spend in their chat talking to them, the more they're going to look for you to come back. And then when you come back, even if it's just you and one other person, they love that.
I think a point to be added on to what you're saying about the raids, something that I've had happen to me and I've accidentally done to others is not watching the channel for like 30 seconds before I raid it, and you raid somebody who's on a break. You're like, oh,
happens
killer.
To me every week.
So,
or you raid somebody, you don't go in and check the channel first, you raid them only to find out that they clicked in stream just as you clicked raid, and now all of your viewers are watching the black screen. Been there, done that with 20 plus people. Not fun. So we do have the clip of that. I got to go back to your channel. I'm going to unfollow and follow just so I can see that come up again.
So you got we're in our stream here in about 20 minutes here, Scruff. Do you have any suggestions for people to raid with our 26 viewers, it looks like?
Let's see here.
Let's get a suggestion from the master.
Let's do that.
Well, I mean, y'all are friends with. Shoot, let's see here.
We're friends with a lot of people you're friends with, but I'm sure there's somebody who would appreciate us bringing
See
20
who
plus
would.
people to them.
Do y'all know Dwarven Egg official?
Yep.
Okay. Flights with Joel.
Who do you got that's small?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Flights with Joel right now has got 16. Dwarven Egg's got 19. Let me designed by Dave. Has got 8. That's probably Pakac Stone. Pakakstone. Pakac Stone. He's my age. Does flight sim, and I hardly ever see him have anybody.
All right, I'm
Not
gonna
that
look
big
him
of
up.
one.
That's what we'll do.
Let's see.
Can
Let
one
me
of
look
moderators
him up
find him?
and see where he's at. We're not ready to raid yet, of
No,
course,
no, not
but
yet.
that will give us the chance to see where he's at in his stream. He's got one viewer,
Yeah, that's
which
it.
I would guess is probably him. He's only been streaming for 30 minutes.
Oh, that's good. So
All
if
right.
I can,
So I'm going to keep him up, and when we get ready to raid, that's who we're going to raid out to. I like that.
cool.
Yep.
Oh, he's got Sezgao. Sezgao is his one viewer. Now I know Sezgao from your stream and
Yeah.
Who Can Do stream and Flights with Joel and about probably 20 other people.
Yes, there are some incredible mods too. Infinite Fireman is one of the best.
We have the best mod team on Twitch.
Yes.
I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that. My stream and this stream has the best mod team on Twitch, hands down. And if you have one that's better, let me know because I'm going to come steal them. And then we'll still have the best mod team on Twitch.
And he'll double their salary every week, by the way.
I will double their salary every single week. We add zeros to their salary every week. They're all happily satisfied and they all get paid the same.
So if I could talk one more time about encouraging people, because this is something I do. If my student's still in here, he'll attest to this, and I love that he's in here so he can attest to it. I like to encourage, just like I encourage my people on my streams. I love to encourage my students as well, because I feel like it's my duty not only to make a difference in the world by streaming and being a positive influence, but also making a difference in my students' lives and being a positive influence to them and encouraging them as well. So, there we go. Thank you, Nigel. So there's 3 things I talk about on day 1 of any class. And I've done this for a couple of years. I've done this for a couple of years, and 2 graduations ago, the graduation speaker, who's the president of our local hospital, I almost jumped up and shouted because his message was exactly what I tell my students every semester. So I tell them there's 3 keys to success. The first one is why. Know your why. Why are you doing, why are you in my program? Why are you sitting in my class right now? Is it because, your parents or someone wanted you to come to school? They were pushing you to a degree that you don't really want? Is it because this is all you've dreamed about, is becoming a technician, and you want to get this degree? This is what you want. Why are you dating who you're dating? Is it for the physical, or is it because you're looking for long term? Why are you married to who you're married to? Why do you work where you work? Know your
I'm
whys.
afraid to leave her; she'll hurt me.
Exactly. But know your whys, and like Solid Man said, it's what drives motivation. And with motivation, you're unstoppable. So you need to know your why, so that it gives meaning and purpose to what you're doing. If you know why you're doing something, you're going to try harder at it and you're going to succeed at it. So that's the first thing, is know your why. Second one is set goals. Set goals for yourself. Don't set them too high. And I'm one that sometimes I'm very guilty of setting my goals way too high. But if you set them way too high, then you're gonna be discouraged, and you're gonna say, "Screw it, I'm done."
I'll never make it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been there, done many times. So I am one that sets my goals too high. But set goals for yourself. If you set them too low, you're gonna get bored. So don't set them too low. Set a reachable goal. I tell
I tell a story to my class, and I'm not going to get into it here about my story of becoming a service manager. It took 14 years. I waited 14 years to be service manager. That was a goal I had. But I'm not going to get into the whole backstory of how that came about, which is just amazing. So set goals for yourself, and then the third one is give back. And the first thing people think about when someone says give is what?
Money.
Money, exactly. You know,
But
my
there's so
students
much
never
more
say
than
no.
that.
Yeah,
Me
my
and Cowboy have been talking about this for 2 months in a row about what giving or what supporting a cause or any of that, what it really means. Anybody can write a check, right?
Yep.
What's the only thing that doesn't have a price tag? Time.
Yes. So give back. It doesn't have to be money. In fact, I would rather it not be money.
I think most would.
Um, yeah, I mean, give back to the community, and there's ways you can do that. I encourage my students help each other. That's one way you can give back. You see a student struggling, go there and help them out with it. And I love my students are fantastic to do that. I love seeing them get in groups together and help each other
Especially
out.
Nigel, right?
Amazing. Yeah, Nigel really is. He's a great student. Really is a good student.
I think he's in here sucking up.
Yeah. Clip that, Nigel. You're gonna want to show that to your parents later.
Right.
So
See,
my
I told you I was good in school, Mom.
my office at school, I've got a bunch of Lego creations all over the place, and we have that in common. So he'll come to class sometimes 45 minutes before class and come sit in my office and hang out. We'll talk Lego and all this stuff. But yeah, I enjoy that.
We had kids like that when I was in school. We called them teacher's pet.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
So that's he was gonna ask for school help.
But you know what? Having that kind of relationship with your students, that is proof that you do give back, that you invest in them, and that is something that we need in our education system in the United States. We need teachers that will invest in their students, and we need students who will spend that investment wisely. Obviously, if he's coming to you before class, now you're not looking at somebody that you're keeping after class and you're sinking your time into trying to help them, not get a failing grade. You have somebody that's coming to you. He's taking the investment that you're giving him and he is spending that wisely. So if that's some advice I could give to somebody, especially if you're maybe a streamer or a gamer, you have somebody that's spending time with you to teach you how to do something, respect that investment and then use that investment to help other people. There is nothing that says I respect somebody more than me taking something that they have taught me how to do and teaching somebody else how to do that same thing just as well as they taught me.
Well, and there's no better show of gratitude than taking someone's advice and using it to gain success, right? To be successful. And there's no better feeling than helping someone get to their level of success. It feels way better picking somebody up than it does putting them down.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I love what I do. I really do.
Well, Scruffy, we're about out of time for the interview. Me and Cowboy got a couple other topics to cover before we go raid out. Any closing words? Who do you think is going to win a Super Bowl?
Who's playing? Seriously, I have no idea. Who's playing.
That was me.
I'm sorry.
I know there's two brothers playing in the Super Bowl. Don't know what teams they are.
I know it's the
Eagles and Chiefs.
Okay, thank you. I knew the Eagles. I didn't know anyone else. Sorry.
Let's hear your pick.
Let's
toss
go
a coin.
Eagles. We'll go with Eagles.
Heck yeah, good pick.
Good.
I think you're gonna win.
Awesome.
Whichever brother gets the biggest hug from his mama.
There you go.
All right, man. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it, guys.
Stick around the stream, and
we'll
go raid here in about 10 minutes. We'll raid out your suggestion here, and then we'll all be around for conversation and whatever else, drinks or whatever you want to do afterwards.
I'll be here.
I'm just excited to have you here. Thank you so much for agreeing to join. Guys, Scrufytam, if you don't follow him, go give him a follow. If we get one more shout out. Okay, there it is right there. She got a shout out. Thank you so much, brother. We will see you next go around.
Heck yeah, that was awesome, man.
That was a great interview. He's a lot of fun. And dude, that's one of the most genuine people you will ever meet in your life.
I don't ever think I've seen him grumpy.
I can't.
Every time I see him, he's smiling ear to ear.
I've seen him when we're working on his flight sim be frustrated that something wouldn't work, but even then, he's still very happy. He's like, I can't believe this won't work. But I've never seen him grumpy, like you said.
Yeah, that's good. It seems like I wish that my children's educators were like him, because it seems like he has a positive influence, and with his general
He said his wife
positivity.
has.
Yeah, I bet. With his general positivity, like that's what a true educator should have, is not just a book of lessons to teach children, but also a positive impact.
A
Uh,
life that teaches children.
yeah, and that's what it sounds like he's doing. He's
You know, the happiest people that I've ever met haven't been the most wealthy people that I've met. It
I never
haven't
seen a sad
been,
dude on a jet ski.
well, I have when his girlfriend dumped him, but
Oh,
the happiest people that I've met, and I don't just mean like happy in the moment, but overall over the course of their life, the
yeah,
happiest people I've ever met have always been the people that have invested themselves in someone else. And they're also the people that have the closest network of friends. I've paid very close attention to that in my adult years. How many people I've seen that, they really invested in other people, not just on the outside, but actually putting forth an effort, and they always have a very close knit circle of friends that are in some cases closer than family because they have invested themselves in those. And I believe Scruffy is one of those people.
yeah. I would venture to say you're right on that, probably. Ooh, I have a bunch of stuff highlighted on my screen here. I think I clicked something wrong.
Uh-oh. Delete chat. No, no,
Right.
that's not. Wipe server. Nope, that's not the right button.
Well, what else we got to cover here for closing statements? What we talk about? We talked about VA budget. Learned something about that today, right? Got a
Mhm.
huge budget, spend a ton of it. Uh, misspend a lot of it. We talked about two brothers playing in the Super Bowl. That's pretty cool. Eagles are
Yeah,
probably going to win, hopefully. Well, I'm gonna look at my notes here. We got some awesome stream tips from Scruffy. That was
man,
decent.
really good ones.
We got vet ticks and first ticks. Got those. Yep, codes are
Hey,
still out there.
go
So
through those again. Explain what they are because we have more people now than we had earlier.
Vet Ticks is an organization, not for profit, that I don't know how they get the tickets exactly, but most of the time it's through direct donations. Like I can tell the Kurt Busch story again, where in 2019, 2020, Kurt Busch donated 100 tickets to every NASCAR Cup Series event to Vet Ticks, specifically to give away to veterans to attend those events at zero cost. And First Ticks is the same thing for first responders, so firefighters, emergency medical responders, and police. Probably all law enforcement, I would guess. Like California's got peace officers and correctional officers and all that. Should all be eligible for the First Tick stuff. Those two pictures you see up on our stream right there is my referral code. You should be able to scan the QR code there, and it'll take you right to both websites. And then if you join, I get a little extra bump on my end, and then whenever you refer somebody else, you'll get a little bit. It just works like a lottery.
And
So
guys, that's just to clarify, that's not a home-based business. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's literally a way for vets to help each other out getting into events. It's
yeah,
it's not like it's not him making money off of you doing this. This literally
no,
just
I
is
don't get
him
any money.
credit
It's just
seeking
I
you
get
for tickets.
literally, yeah. It's like I said, it works like a lottery. So if I have 30 tickets and I uh, wager 10 of them to get tickets to the Bulls game tonight, and I'm selected, they take my 10 coins that I wagered, and then if I don't get the tickets, I get my 10 coins back. So if someone clicks my referral code, I'll get 10 more, so I can wager more to get a higher chance of going to an event later. And the same works to you. Everybody who joins will get their own referral link. That's just the pictures or whatever that I got off their website to they'll customize each picture for you, put your own referral link in there and stuff. So if you guys want to put on your streams and whatnot, share your codes. But yeah, it's just a big it's a big program, big advocate for first responders and veterans.
Be cool to get them on stream, talk about what
Yeah.
they do. That
Actually, they are super small staffing wise. Like they have one company telephone, and it's a cell phone that sits on the desk, and literally they do not answer it. It says right on their website, we will not answer this phone number. We just have to have one to be a company.
right.
Like,
Well,
yeah. So
that might be worth emailing them and just saying, hey, we're promoting your stuff on stream. Do you mind coming and explaining how that
yeah, I
works?
try. I
That'd be
tried all that. I
awesome.
mean, we can try again. That's what I spent this last week doing between episodes, was trying to get veteran organizations ready that maybe I could cut 15-second clips and promos for them or something. And yeah, VetTix had nothing.
available. And yeah, I mean, maybe you can definitely look, between this week and next. But
We'll find out where they're located. I'll go ring the phone and listen for it to ring, and then
they
walk
do
in.
have their address and stuff on there if you want to write to them and do all that. But
I got a motorcycle. Have bike wheel travel.
right. We got the Combat Veterans Motorcycle. Is it association?
Association. It is
Okay,
not
that's
a
nationwide,
club,
correct?
but it's a nationwide group. You got the American Legion,
That's
the
awesome. I'm a
VFW.
member of the American Legion.
I am as well. I'm in the Sons of the American Legion. If you're a veteran, the VFW is definitely a great organization to join. And guys, these are not just bars that you can go drink at. They are so much more than that. They do so much more in the community. And a lot of people ask, well, how do I get involved? I'm just a regular Joe. I didn't serve. I don't belong to these legions. I didn't serve either, but my grandfather did. My great grandfather did, and we have the ability to become a son of the American Legion. And you can also get involved in your local community. As Scrufytam mentioned, if you're a streamer, use your stream to raise money for a family in need, whether it be a house that burned down or a child with cancer. There is something that you can do to get involved. The world around you needs people like Scruffy. It needs people like you who will get active in it and try to make a difference.
Heck yeah, absolutely. We all got to help each other. None of us going to be left here after long.
I agree. We're
All right, man.
in trouble. We're inside our 2-minute warning, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the show. Solid, can you get a raid ready for Pack Act Stone? PAKAKSTONE. And once that credit roll plays, let the credits play, and then once that credit roll plays, send us out on the raid. Guys,
Please stick with us, viewers, for a short credit roll at the end. It's us to give our shout outs to the people who help us with the videos and moderating and stuff like that.
Right. Big shout outs to everybody that's helped make this possible.
And Iceman kicking off 2 streams in a row with a raid. We appreciate that too.
Huge raid. Appreciate that. So guys, you can't change the world, but you can change the world around you.
So don't talk about it, be about it.